What if humor isn't a magical gift you're born with, but a mechanical skill you can learn, practice, and master? In How to Write Funny, Scott Dikkers, the co-founder and longest-serving editor of The Onion, pulls back the curtain on the art of comedy. This is not a book of vague advice like just be yourself. It is a rigorous, analytical, and highly practical manual that breaks down the structure of jokes, the psychology of laughter, and the techniques used by professional comedy writers. Dikkers introduces his famous funny filter and other proprietary tools to help writers identify what makes something funny and how to replicate it. If you are an aspiring comedian, a content creator, a marketer, or simply someone who wants to be wittier in conversation, this audiobook will give you the blueprint to engineer laughter on demand. Dikkers begins by debunking the myth of the natural comic, arguing that while timing helps, the core of humor is structural. The audiobook format is particularly effective here, as Dikkers' narration is sharp, witty, and incredibly engaging. His voice carries the authority of a veteran newsroom editor, delivering complex concepts with clarity and punchiness. Listeners feel like they are in a masterclass as he deconstructs famous jokes and headlines to show exactly why they work. It creates an atmosphere of intellectual playfulness, replacing the fear of not being funny with the confidence of understanding the mechanics. The core of the book details the specific techniques for generating humor, such as exaggeration, irony, juxtaposition, and the rule of three. Dikkers explains the concept of benign violation, the idea that humor comes from something that seems wrong or threatening but is actually safe. He provides step-by-step exercises for brainstorming, refining, and polishing jokes, ensuring that every word serves the punchline. These sections are instructional and actionable, offering a toolkit for immediate improvement. The narrator guides listeners through these creative processes with energy and precision, ensuring that the lessons are easy to apply. It transforms abstract creativity into a repeatable process. One of the most compelling aspects of How to Write Funny is its focus on audience psychology. Dikkers explores why we laugh, how cultural context affects humor, and how to avoid common pitfalls like offensiveness or obscurity. He discusses the importance of knowing your target audience and tailoring your humor to their expectations and values. These insights are strategic and professional, appealing to those who want to use humor for business or branding. The audiobook captures this professional edge with a tone that is serious about the craft but fun in the delivery. It reminds listeners that humor is a form of communication, not just entertainment. The book also addresses the business side of comedy writing, including how to pitch ideas, work in writers' rooms, and build a career in the industry. Dikkers shares anecdotes from his time at The Onion, illustrating the collaborative nature of comedy and the resilience needed to handle rejection. These reflections are realistic and encouraging, adding depth to the technical instruction. The narration handles these career tips with honesty, creating a vision of a sustainable creative life. It invites listeners to take their ambitions seriously. As the guide progresses, Dikkers explores different formats of comedy, from satirical news articles to stand-up routines and social media posts. He shows how the core principles remain the same, even as the medium changes. These sections are versatile and modern, demonstrating the universal applicability of the techniques. The audiobook supports this breadth, with a pacing that keeps the listener engaged across different topics. How to Write Funny concludes with an invitation to start writing immediately. Scott Dikkers leaves listeners with the understanding that humor is a muscle that grows with exercise. For writers, comedians, marketers, or simply someone who wants to add more joy to their words, this audiobook is an essential resource. It proves that you don't have to wait for inspiration. You can build it. So, put on your headphones, grab a notebook, and start crafting. The world is waiting for your laugh.